Guys, I really came up with this story. I really saw this story popping up and I really said, oh, I need to say something about this. Sometimes media tries to obviously dictate, the level at which you're supposed to be understanding at. But in this era where everyone can sit down and really bring out his own opinion as far as a certain student is concerned, you cannot really control us by coming up with such stories that are really, really uncalled for. And this time around, it's Amrabat loan deal in a worrying state. It's rumored by the Mail and the Sunsport that they are not going to make it permanent, and they're obviously going to let this player go back to Fiorentina. Welcome to the United Matters channel. The Muslims, Juma Karim, the Christians, may the living to God bless you abundantly. We thank God for the gift of life and hope everyone is really doing fine from wherever you are watching us from. Rokan David is my name, and this is the United Matters channel where we strictly do United content. Continue to subscribe and smash the like button close to 100 times. Now, we have something to do here, The Sunsport have come out and told us that Manchester United boss Ten Hag has already made his decision on Sofyan Amrabat and will not be looking to keep the struggling summer loan signing beyond the end of the season. You get? That is the Sun. Then we got the Mail Sport. Ten Hag is leaning towards not making Sofyan Amrabat's loan deal a permanent one. Now, sometimes you really read certain stories and ask yourself, what does it take for someone to use his common sense and really get to know what he's supposed to be saying and writing for the people? Look at Amrabat. He's a player that came in through late. He never had a pre-season with the club. I even heard Fabrizio Romano say about it that even in the pre-season, he never really played a lot because he was all looking towards Manchester United. And for everything that Amrabat is going through, it's because of Man United delaying to obviously process this deal of him to join Man United. Trust me, if we got in Amrabat and he had a preseason in the club of Man United, he would have been performing very well. Because look at what he's doing right now from the game of Galatasaray. He has gone ahead to show us his character, and he's really an important player for the club of Manchester United. Very, very, very important player. So, everyone who is really publishing such stories, look through yourself. Ten Hag wanted to sign Amrabat on a permanent deal, but the money was not there. If we went ahead to sign him on a permanent deal, we would have gone ahead to violate the financial fair play rule. Now, you are talking about Ten Hag not signing Amrabat on a permanent, right? You're the same people who have gone ahead to say that Manchester United is going to sell Casemiro. So, what is he going to be left with? What is he going to be left with? Remember, Eriksen at the start of next season is going to be in the last year of his career, meaning that United will have to reinforce. Next season, or next summer, if Scott McTominay survives a sell, I'll be one of the most surprised people. So, people are not looking that into play. Ten Hag knows it very well that Amrabat offers more than Scott McTominay. Even if you play him as a central attack midfielder, he can offer you more than Scott McTominay. He's better than Scott McTominay. And United just has to pay 25 or 26 million pounds to really get Amrabat. That is an absolute steal. So, there is no way you can come and decide now, or and put out a story that Ten Hag is not really in good terms with Amrabat on his performances. Yet in the previous games, he has been one of the best performers for the club of Manchester United. Against Liverpool, if it was not Varane, him and Kobe Menu were next in line to obviously win that man of the match. Against Chelsea, he was one of those players that could easily win the man of the match. Against Galatasaray away, he was one of those players that really played very well. Against Bayern Munich, though we lost, you saw how he commanded that midfield. So, everyone who is really putting out such stories, first think before you really let out such stories. Amrabat is still having 6 months at the club of Manchester United. Do you know what he's going to become? You are the same people when Casemiro came in through, when Eric Ten Hag came in through and obviously never started him in games. You put out stories that Eric Ten Hag believes Scott McTominay is making it hard for Casemiro to come into his team. And which kind of journalist can write such a story? Those stories were there. They are written here in September last year. Because these are people that don't use their head sometimes when they're thinking. Ask yourself, look at the parameters. Look at the hurdles that this player is supposed to be going in through. Amrabat is like having his preseason at Man United. He doesn't know the full chemistry of the club. That's why Ten Hag really rested him and never played him certain games, because he wanted him to sink into the chemistry of the club, and he went ahead to unleash him when the club best needed him. So, a club like Man United should be having Amrabat, 27 years of age, should be having Casemiro in that age, such that when Casemiro is away, Amrabat comes in through. And people are so much obsessed with Kobe Menu, but you don't rush players like Kobe Menu in a run of very many games. All you have to do is that bring him in and then take him out for a certain period, bring him back. You get? So, you can't tell me that Eric Ten Hag is not going to sign Amrabat when Amrabat still has 6 months to go. Do you know exactly what Amrabat is going to become? From February to June. Do you know how he's going to play? Do you want to tell me that you are a foreseer? You are crossing the bridge before you reach it? Are you a prophet of doom? So I hate it when I see people coming out and really say things like that. For a player who is really talented and proven, who was wanted by Liverpool, Atletico Madrid, Juventus, and very many other teams, and he decided, I'm not going to come in and play. And they're only basing that onto his time at Man United. Remember, he came in through on the 1st of September. 1st of September, we've gone ahead to have close to 3 or 4 international breaks. He's been struggling to get into the team of Manchester United. And you've seen it that every time he has gone ahead to get into this team, he has become better and better and better. And this is what he is. This is what he is. And he's doing more and more and more and more. And these people are really judging him now. I'm not judging Amrabat now. Like I told Arsenal fans about Kai Havertz. Very many Arsenal fans, when I really record my videos onto the Rokani Media Football, they are really slating Kai Havertz. I told them, you guys, where do you get to know the game of football from? And for me, the good thing with me is that I fail to really allow people to come and really inject their words in me. Like Kai Havertz, the media was obviously going, mad at Kai Havertz. I said, no, this player is talented, this player is good, and all he needs is time to obviously get into the team of Arsenal, because the manager is even playing him out of position. Right now as we speak, Saka has 5 Premier League goals, and Kai Havertz has 4 Premier League goals. Saka plays in a more advanced position that allows him to score more than Kai Havertz, but Kai Havertz is 1 goal less to level Bukayo Saka. Now they're referring to him as King Kai. So the same thing applies to Amrabat. I've seen Amrabat. He is non-struggling at the club of Man United. In the previous 4 games, you've seen it that he has gone ahead to put up a shift. And to know the importance of this guy, just imagine Amrabat out of the Liverpool game. Amrabat out of the Liverpool game, and Scott McTominay is being played as a CDM. Amrabat played a very beautiful game against Liverpool. He played well against Bournemouth. He played well against Chelsea. He played well against Galatasaray. He played well against Luton Town. He really put up a show. And for every media house that thinks that he's not going to be really signed by the club of Man United, you are really joking. This man has all the attributes of the modern players. His intensity, he's a press-resistant player, and he has been affected that he's playing in a United team that hasn't gone ahead to get on the groove. We've not gone ahead to obviously get onto the rhythm. And when we get there, trust me, you people will shut your mouth about Amrabat. Guys, what are your thoughts about these stories that have gone ahead to be put out by the Sun and the Mail that Erik Ten Hag is contemplating or not making Amrabat's loan deal permanent? Do you think these people are really speaking us on a well-informed source of view, or they're just adding dots and trying to put out stories that will help themselves? Remember, this is the same media that 2-3 weeks back we are really putting out stories that Erik Ten Hag is going to be sacked. Now, after Erik Ten Hag getting a draw away at Liverpool, they've now gone ahead to change the flow of their tape. Now they are now going to players. So, lastly, I'm this kind of person who sees Amrabat as a very good player, and I'm asking the people that put out this story, why don't they talk about Mason Mount? Why don't they talk about Mason Mount on how badly he's performing, injury prone, and he's struggling at the club of Manchester United? And Amrabat, who was going ahead to get a run-in of games and never had a preseason, is being labeled a flop at the club of Manchester United, and Erik Ten Hag doesn't want to sign him, because if you say he's not going to sign him on a permanent, that means he's a flop, not so? So, what of a £60 million player, English player, that is at Man United, had a preseason in the club of Man United and is struggling? What do you make about him? What do you have to say about Mason Mount? That's the big question that we are waiting for you guys to say, because we are really here and wanting to see how objective you guys are. Rokan David remains my name. Juma Karim to the Muslims. A sign out for now. See you later. The Christians, we cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ, and may the living true God protect you in all your endeavors. I'm out.